You're listening to Duel Radio. This is my 2024 Gren Maju Deck Profile. I've been playing this at locals for the past few weeks and I've been having a lot of fun with it, so I figured I'd just share it off with everybody. So of course this is a Gren Maju deck, so you want to go second, but you have no problems going first even in game one due to some, turn skipping kind of cards, and we have a going first play, so we're not completely out of the game. And to start things off, we've got 3 Gren Maju. Of course, we're going to be playing 3 Gren Maju in the Gren Maju deck. He's a Fiend, he's a Fire, he's level 3. All 3 are relevant for this deck. Up next, we got 1 Eater of Millions. Eater of Millions is really good because you can banish 15 cards, those being your extra deck cards, and you don't have to banish those cards from your main deck, pushing you closer to losing the game like Pot of Desires and Gizmek Orochi. Spoilers, those are both in my deck. We're only playing 1 Eater of Millions, though, because we are using our extra deck, and we're not banishing 15 to Eater of Millions every single game. Playing 3 Gizmek Orochi. Gizmek's good because it's a quick effect body. It banishes 8 from your main deck, so those cards are free cards. I don't even look at them when I banish them. And being 2450, he's not quite big enough to kill Bishos, but he does get over quite a few monsters in the game. While Gizmek's not quite Nibiru in the end of main phase, Gizmek in the main phase of your turn can be a nice poke to get opponents to activate their effects and then you can activate cards like Triple Tactic Talents or Thrust. Or if they never let the monster summon and it happens to go to graveyard, you could activate it from the graveyard and banish a total of 16 cards over your, 4 phases that you've been through before your battle phase and, hopefully before your normal summon. Winning games with this deck revolves around good Gizmek Orochi play. Up next, we're playing 3 Pot of Desires. There's not much to say about this one. Pot of Greed and give Gren Maju 4,000 attack. It seems like a win-win to me. I'm playing 3 Tour Guide from the Underworld. Tour Guide is going to summon Gren Maju from your deck, and then it's going to have its effects negated while it's on the field. But you can use it for extra deck summons, and there are ways to bring it back. So this is a very consistent way to get Gren Maju from your deck and safely into... I say safely into the graveyard, but not banished face down to a Pot of Desires or Gizmek Orochi. I'm playing 1 full armored XYZ. This is your Garnet for the deck. You don't want to open this in your opening 5 cards or off of the 1 draw early in your combo. Alternatively, if you're going to be playing Unchained cards, this would be Shavara. I like playing it because the threat of trap cards is always good, and there is some tricksy things that you can do with it, making Zeus with your opponent's XYZ monster being on the field and them doing battle damage to you, or making Typhon on their turn. I'm playing 3 Dimensional Shifter. Dimensional Shifter is the boogeyman of the format. Yeah, activate him. People like to, oh no, but he isn't. It's immediately going to win you the game in this deck. You still have to find a line to kill your opponents. Sometimes it's not always there. Up next, we got 6 Bistrills. We're playing 1 Magnemut, 1 Soronir, 1 Baldrake, and we're playing 3 Druis Worms. The Bistrills are good because they're 2,500 bodies, and you're getting value from stopping your opponent, so that's always going to be good. And if you happen to get 2 of them, there is some other things that we can do with them in this deck. Impermanence has always been a solid card. You can use it to negate trap cards as well as monster cards, just as long as they're in the same column. And the fact that it's a trap card and not a monster card puts it over any other hand trap in the game. I'm playing some Kaijus. We're playing 3 Game of Seal, along with Doggeran and Sticky String. Playing Doggeran because it's 3,000 attack and a fire monster. And we're playing Sticky String because it's a 2,400 body that Gizmek Orochi can attack over. Along with the Kaijus, we are playing 2 Interrupted Kaiju Slumbers. We're only playing 2 of it because we would like to probably open a Kaiju as well as either open a Lightning Storm or a Slumber, so we don't want to have all of these cards and then nothing to actually play the game with. We're playing 2 Lightning Storm and 1 Harpy's Feather Duster. This is basically 3 Harpy's Feather Duster with the effect that 2 of them happen to be sort of Rikeki. We're playing 2 Fenrir. Fenrir is good because he breaks boards very easily, but I'm only playing 2 of it because I'm only trying to play for 1 turn, so I'm only trying to activate Fenrir 1 time. Playing 1 Called by the Grave. If all of the other graveyard removal cards weren't enough in this game, we got Called by the Grave as well. limited, but it also works as a trap card that can negate a card from the graveyard, so that's always going to be good. Playing 3 Forbidden Lance. Forbidden Lance is for those pesky infinite impermanences and other trap cards that are out there. This is just to get around those as a gotcha. Moving on to the extra deck, we got XYZ Armor Torpedo. You overlay Gren Maju and Tour Guide to make this. Detach both of them to draw a card. And then you overlay for XYZ Armor Fortress, and you detach to search for the trap card. That is why I say if you draw it in your opening 5 or off of the torpedo, you can't do this combo because it says on the card that you cannot use it as a material. If it has an XYZ material, you can't detach. If you can't search, don't draw that card. Overlay into full armored Crystal Zero. Crystal Zero's effects, you can activate it. You can detach to negate the effects of all face-up monsters your opponent currently controls until the end of the turn. So that's a good blanket negate. You can move on to other things like the battle phase. Speaking of battle phase, we're going to be attacking with this full armored Dark Knight Lancer. It itself gains attack for cards that are attached to it, as well as XYZ material. And then that trap card that we searched earlier in the combo is going to attach this XYZ Armor Fortress, giving it 2,500 more attack, as well as making it untargetable by card effects. And then you can also destroy that XYZ Armor Torpedo instead of the Lancer. So one normal summon gets you a draw card, a search, and then a interruption, at least one interruption. So I think that's all pretty good. Playing Moon of the Closed Heaven, as well as Underworld Goddess of the Closed World, using the link 2 to make the link 5 as is intended. Linking your opponent's monsters is always going to be good because it gets around being unaffected by other card effects. I am playing Dark. I think generically Dark is always going to have the best targets to steal from your opponent's graveyard, so that's why I chose to play this one over something like Hita. This could very easily be something else as well. I am playing one Wallow, founder of the Drudge Dragons. You can overlay 2 Bestials to make this, and this would be a 1 Bestial, 2 Bestial. Number 3 would be Wallow, third form of graveyard removal, back to back to back. Wallow can actually steal spells and traps as well, so if your opponent has something juicy in their graveyard, you can steal it for yourself. As well as it gives your cards attack and defense for cards in your opponent's graveyard, so that's always nice as well. I'm playing Typhon. I think Typhon's a good monster just to play generically as a one-of, because you can just make one monster make it, and that gives you a non-target bounce, and at a minimum, that's pretty good. I am playing Divine Arsenal Zeus. In the deck of board wipes, of course, I'm playing the best board wipe. The problem with this one, though, is you have to go through your battle phase, and if you did that, that means you did not kill your opponents. I am playing the rank 8 OTK. This is number 97 Draglubian. Any dragon XYZ numbered monster, and number 100 Numeron Dragon. You summon Numeron, you put the other XYZ dragon underneath of it, you activate Numeron's effect, and you get at least 9,000 attack as long as Draglubian's still on the field as well. But this also can get buffed if you did your other combo and you happen to have the XYZ armor card on the field as well. And to wrap up the extra deck, I've got Muckraker from the Underworld and Promethean Princess. Both are going to be used to revive Gren Maju from the graveyard, both with their own stipulations, and you can't use one to go into the other, but both are going to be good, so it's nice to have both of them. Kicking off the side deck, we've got Nibiru the Primal Being. I think this is my only side deck card that I would like for going second, but it's not a card that I'm always going to want, so I don't want to have it in my main board. Following Nib, we got 2 triple tactic talent and 1 triple tactic thrust. These are going to be good for going first. If you had talent, you could confiscate a card from their hand, and if you had thrust, you could search for one of these nasty trap cards that we're about to show you from the side deck. There can be only one, so I am playing one of it. It is pretty good against Tenpai, and they're going to make you go first anyway, so you might as well side a trap card for them. To go with that 1 thrust, we have 2 Trap Trick. This obviously doesn't require engagement from our opponent to search for the trap card, and that's consistently getting it onto our board and turn skipping our opponents. Sideboard trap number 1, it's Dimensional Barrier. Obviously a turn skip for those all synchro decks, all fusion decks. Maybe you can get one of those decks that use both just enough to stop it from killing you so you can kill them on the crackback. Dimensional Barrier is always going to be a good card. And sideboard trap number 2, it's Banquet of Millions. And to talk about a true turn skip, this is essentially a Scythe Lock. If you don't have combo, meaning the tour guide combo, you can banish all 15 of your extra deck cards and make your opponent banish all 15 of their extra deck cards face up until the end phase. So essentially, yeah, this is a Scythe Lock for a whole turn if you can happen to find it, but we've got Thrust and Trap Trick to get it out of our decks and activating it on our opponent, so we are very likely to see it, and we don't care about permanently losing our cards to the banish pile because that's where we were going to put them anyway. Thank you for watching my video. To watch another video, click over here. To watch a completely random video, click over here. And of course, subscribe down below. Bye-bye.